What is up, everybody? How are you doing? Welcome here to Pop Culture Philosophers. It's Wednesday. In fact, it's Whiplash Wednesday. How are you all doing today? Because it's Whiplash Wednesday. It's also brand new comic book day. Brand new comic book day? BNCBD? Nah, that doesn't sound so good. Anyway, tonight we're going to be talking about Miss Marvel Episode 3, which I believe is entitled Destined. So far, me and the panel, PCP Army Bad Batch, we've been really liking Miss Marvel. I'm excited to see what everybody thinks about this latest episode, including you out there in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Hit the like, hit the thumbs up. It's the same button, basically. Do all that jazz. Anyway, speaking of jazz, Taki's back in the house after missing a week. What is up, my man?
What is happening, Station? What's happening?
Station.
Glad to be here.
Glad to have you back. We missed you last week, but Manny did his best. Manny did his best, man. He tried to keep it low key. He took his voice down a couple octaves. He was doing it, man. He was really making it work.
Manny's been knocking it out of the park lately.
You know he has. Yeah. Speaking of knocking it out of the park, how about knocking it out of the dealership? It's Brando from Comics Kings. What's up, my man?
Hey, what's going on, Robbie? This is my first day off the whole month of June.
Well, this show's about Miss Marvel, not about you, Brando, but Thank you for being here.
Thank you,
I'm just kidding, man. No, seriously, that's good. And did you enjoy the day off?
Well, it was mostly doing stuff around the house, so I don't know how much enjoyment that brings. But
well, at least your day off happened to be New Comic Book Day and Whiplash Wednesday.
Yes, it happened to be all those things. I'm here with you guys, so I couldn't ask to send it off any better.
Yeah, speaking of sending it off, how about setting it off? It's Fable in the house. What's up, my man?
Station, what's going on, guys? How are y'all?
Doing good. The host, by the way, of the Blame Fable Tonight Show on Instagram every Sunday evening. Gotta check it out. Hell yeah. Thanks for being here, bro. And we also gotta have Nick Comic Culture.
Station.
The third greatest comic book reviews on YouTube.
Maybe fourth. Maybe even fourth. I don't know. I'll take top 5.
Let's be honest. Top 5 for sure.
Top 5 for
top
sure.
Top 10, top 25.
Top 25 in the Bad Batch.
Definitely.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Top 25. There's like 75
Nick,
of us.
How many of us are there out there?
Shit, depends who you ask, man. Depends who you
know.
ask.
Yeah.
Happy New Comic Book Day. Happy Whiplash Wednesday. It's awesome to be back.
Nick's the best reviewer in the Wu-Tang Clan.
All right. I can vibe with that. All right, so let's get into it. Miss Marvel had another episode today, the third episode. But first, before we really get into it, and there will be spoiler talk, I want to ask you all this question. It has been released, this information, since there have been 2 episodes. This is the least viewed Disney Plus Marvel show. Ooh. That's crazy. You got any thoughts on that? Anybody?
I don't doubt it, but sure. Yeah.
I mean, any thoughts on like for instance, here's something that's different between this and any other Marvel show. Well, every Marvel property that's being done in film or TV has like these people that are waiting for it to fail. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that they cause that much stuff. This is the only Marvel show to debut while something else big at Disney Plus was going on. Obi-Wan.
Yes.
Right.
We got 3 episodes of Miss Marvel in the midst of 3, the last 3 episodes of Obi-Wan. Maybe that affected it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, this is the only character that never had a movie, right? Or anything backing it out of all the Marvel shows. So all these characters appeared in films, so they're maybe more recognizable. And maybe the young nature scared some people away too.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say the young nature combined with the fact that we're getting trailers for a lot of other films that are coming out after Miss Marvel will finish. For example, Thor: Love and Thunder. I would say more people are hyped for Thor: Love and Thunder than they are for Miss Marvel, and probably are so caught up in that hype they don't even know that Miss Marvel's even coming out, because look at what Marvel's marketing more. Love and Thunder, you're getting trailers, you're getting teasers. If you go on CBR, it's all freaking Love and Thunder, right?
Now, yeah, and if you go and look at the rankings, like the released numbers, Moon Knight's at the bottom too, right? Yeah.
Well,
and I think it's just because, that doesn't have anything to do with it. You can have the shittiest show in the world and it'd be the most popular one. You know what I'm saying? Right. Why has Walking Dead lasted so long? Come on. Herm's not here. We can talk real. You know what I'm saying? But the other thing is, things are kind of back to normal for most people, and like a year ago when all these other shows were coming on, we're still in a semi-lockdown state in certain places and stuff like that. So, I mean, in Bama, after 28 days, we're like, okay, let's just get back to normal. That's the way it goes in Bama down here. But
yeah, it was like June 2020, and we're like taking masks off and stuff. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I'm like, are we cool to do this? I kept wearing the mask for a while, but once I got the vaccines and everything, there was a certain point where I was just like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Like I got my vaccine and shit. Anyway. Yeah. Any other thoughts on why this could be the case? Can you get any thoughts? You said it's because the young natured, right?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think you got burnout. I think that Moon Knight wasn't good, or it hasn't been thought of as being good. I think that might have hurt it. But this one has international appeal. And I think the numbers, I would want to wait and see the numbers when it's released internationally. I'm not sure if that's happened yet or not.
I don't know. Did they do a global release? I don't know.
I mean, I know that you can't like go to a different country and pull up your Disney Plus. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not that concerned about it. But like you said, there are people that are waiting for this show to fail, just because they want Peter Parker to be Spider-Man forever. So.
Well, Miguel O'Hara's going to have to take over in 2099, and we're getting close.
Same thing with Miles. So,
hell yeah! All right, let's get into this episode. Episode 3, Destined. A lot of stuff happened in this episode. I really think it moved the ball, and I initially predicted that the wedding would be the season finale. I'm glad I was wrong. Because I loved. We'll get to all of this, but your overall thoughts on episode 3, you out there in the chat, and thank you all, Christian, Eric, John, Ronnie's, I think Entropy's in the house. Yeah, Matthew. Thank you all for being here. What do you think, Taki? What do you think?
I'm so confused. I mean, I felt like right when I got through watching the episode, like I needed to do all this research and start whiteboarding it out, and I'm not sure why the mother doesn't know what's going on, or maybe she does, or maybe she's faking. So that's what I was left with. And then when I sat down with my thoughts and thought about the episode, I kind of calmed down, and I still think it was a pretty good episode. It's just that I think that they're being too vague. I think they need to really start filling in the blanks here. Otherwise, we will start having a Star Wars situation. We'll start having a Lost situation where the fans will get ahead of the show.
Yeah, well, I think they're definitely going to be exploring some stuff next episode with the way this one leaves off, right? What were your thoughts on last week's episode?
So last week's episode, I was not really liking the high school stuff that much. I was feeling my age. But once they got back with the family, the second half of the episode, I really liked that a lot. So
what would you have given it out of 5 you digs?
I would have given it a 3.75.
Whoa.
Yeah. And this one I'm looking at 3.25.
I think we were all on the same level. We thought the same of episode 2.
Everybody liked it last week. Yeah.
All right.
I was kind of feeling like it was Riverdale without all the nastiness or whatever you want to call it, Betty and Veronica making out. I kind of felt like it was a teen drama
of Riverdale.
Well, yeah, but then once her family got back into it, I liked that part of it. For last weekend. Yeah,
that was my favorite bit too.
Yeah, I mean, in the Eid festival. So I mean, like there's so many things that there are so many parts to this that are redeeming. It's just I think that they're being a little too vague, and they don't need to be. There could still be surprises. They don't need to. Like, to me, it almost seems like they don't know what they're doing. Like they haven't figured it out yet.
Wow, I have the exact opposite feelings. I'll just share mine overall thoughts real quick. Yeah. I loved it. I pretty much liked it as much as I did the previous 2 episodes. I was watching the post show. This was the first show of theirs I watched, because I usually watch heavy spoilers. I like that dude because he's British, and it makes me feel like Mark's there with me from Geeks Unleashed, right? But he hadn't put up his video yet, but New Rockstars had a thing. New Rockstars, that's who it is, right? So I was watching their shit, and they had a lot of the same kind of revelations and thoughts that I did, but one of the dudes said, this show is so joyful. Like, I am so happy while I'm watching the show. There are other shows that I like more, that I think are better, that I'm into, that actually get something like more out of. But when I watch Miss Marvel, just like this dude, I am filled with joy. Like the entire damn time. no matter the character, no matter the bit, no matter what's happening, I was watching it this morning before work. And honestly, man, it was a rough morning. Like I didn't want to get up. I'm going to Heroes Con tomorrow. I was like, so this is my last day of work before my little vacation. Man, I didn't want to go. I was like, it's new comic day. People are going to be in there like, where's the first appearance of this person at? Why don't you have it? I didn't want to deal with that stuff, right? And so like I sit there and I watch this movie, man, it was like someone just fucking shot me up with cocaine straight into my fucking heart, man. It just it lifted me up. The show lifts me up, man. It's like going to a youth rally when I was like 15 years old, man. It just gives me that feeling. Like not necessarily a spiritual sense, but I love that it dives into that stuff, right? But I am overjoyed watching this fucking show. And yeah, I don't really relate to the high school shit, but at the same time I do, because apparently if this is the same shit that's going on with high schoolers today, it's the same shit I was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. There's like oh man, thank God life ain't like that no more. You know what I'm saying? But I love it. And at the same time, aspects of adult life are still very much like high school. So that's interesting. Speaking of high school, Brando will be graduating next year. We're very excited for him. Brando, what do you think about episode 3 overall?
Honestly, like I was kind of blown away with this episode in particular. I didn't really expect the tempo to move so fast, or because we're halfway through the show. It is 6 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're officially halfway through. Yeah. And we already have so much, and it's like the amount of story and substance that they've already built is spectacular, and it's only going to go up from here. We have a lot of stuff that we have left to be answered. I'm very curious as to where those answers lead us, right? Because we have a bunch of different avenues that this show can go on, right? We can still be open to the Kree. We're kind of mixing in like religion with more of what's going on like alien wise and cosmic wise in the MCU, which I really like. But this has been a really enjoyable show so far, and I'm very pleased with this episode.
Nice. What about you, Fable?
Yeah, it continues to be a joy for me. I loved it as much as I loved the first 2 episodes. I was kind of a little worried a little bit because they kind of dropped a lot of the tropes that they were doing with the animation and stuff like that in the background. So that kind of disappointed me a little bit.
They were like, we went over budget in episode 1, guys. Sorry.
But then it made up for everything with the awesome wedding, which I guess we'll get into. And that final fight scene, man, it was really visceral. It was a lot more visceral than I thought it would be. I mean, those guys were trying to kill her.
That was a goddamn heel turn. They were good for 5 minutes, bro.
Like enough of this.
And it's not like they came back to like Kamala, like she's gonna
give
them one more chance, right? They just come in like, we're gonna kill everybody in this fucking wedding. There's multiple weddings going on. Kill fucking all of them, man, and kill that fucking ice cream pizza kid, right?
Yeah. So
you liked it just as much.
Me.
Yeah.
Nice. And it's like you said, man, I agree 100%. I watched it in the morning too. I was super groggy. It was raining out here, and brought me right up.
Yeah. You guys got to watch an episode of Ms. Marvel every morning, apparently. That's the secret. Somebody called Tony Robbins. He's going to make $1 million off of that shit. Speaking of making $1 million off of shit, NFT Nick is here. So thank you so much for just
NFT Nick.
One day.
Did you read Red Room yet, bro? By the way,
no. It's actually
you get Mr. NFT in that.
I know. I saw that on the cover down here, and I'm like, oh hell yeah.
That's a great one. What did you think about the episode overall, bro?
I think I'm perfectly positioned between you two because my opinions are split between you two. I think, Robbie, from your point, I think that we have a lot of great character moments. I think we have a lot of great family moments. I think the foundation's really, really solid. All the characters are charming. I like it from that aspect. It's all very relatable, right? There's a lot of great touching moments throughout this entire series and in this one too. And then I think I'm also on Taki's side where it's like, we need to get some more explanation. We need to figure out what's going on. We need to get some clarity. What's the mom up to? And like we said, everyone kind of turned on a dime and wanted to go into that murder mode right into the wedding. So there's a few things there that I just don't jive with, but I think the foundation and the characters and the feeling that you get and the heartfelt moments are just solid in the entire series. I think that's what's really making it a special series. And I think it also has to do with the fact that it's aimed at a certain audience. And so it's not going to be aimed at the same audience as like Falcon and Winter Soldier or something like that. It's aimed at a lower age range, but the concepts are universal and they can be felt across all age ranges. And so, yeah, I think I'm kind of right on the fence, right between you two. I can understand both sides.
The great thing about that it is directed towards youth, but the parents are not caricatures of parents. They are, like in most of these kind of sitcoms and other shows are geared towards young people. The parents are kind of caricaturish, right?
Right.
That's not here. They're fully realized. So there's something even like, I ain't got kids, I got a cat, but she ain't, getting alien powers and trying to like save the world
really
and shit.
cat.
She's wanting out of the room right now. But let's get into the introduction of, and we said this last week. We were like, Najma and I was like, they're villains. Now I thought that Cameron was going to be like more on their side initially.
Yeah.
So that surprised me that he actually took a little bit of a different turn. But Najma, we get introduced to them. She represents themselves. We knew that they weren't going to be Inhumans. They are the clandestine, which is a comic book that I know of, but I don't know shit about it. Is Alan Davis. Nobody read that stuff in the 90s. Trust me, man. Nobody read that stuff. Okay. It's in the dollar bins. You can go find that shit in the dollar bins right now. Their first appearance is like a later issue of Marvel Comics Presents. Just go for it if you want to. They did jump up to like $10-15 today.
Yeah, I was just about to say
it's on Key Collector already, probably, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say our friend Bobby Delegato probably has 8 of them already.
Yeah, probably all signed.
Let's get
too.
Bobby in here.
Yeah, all signed.
Yeah, let me get one of those. No, I'm just kidding, man. I love Alan Davis, so it was always something that I loved, but to be honest, I didn't like Excalibur back in those days, right?
Really?
Like I would read Excalibur and I'm like, this doesn't read like X-Men or Uncanny or anything like that.
It's
It just felt
different though.
Yeah, but in those days when I was like 10, 11 years old, I was bored with it, right? So Clandestine kind of So Clandestine kind of like, you beat me to that one. So Clandestine was kind of like whatever. But when they did that, I was like, well, that's interesting. That's a good one. Like, we don't want to do Inhumans, so they're this. Okay.
Yeah.
They'll just stand in, right?
Sure.
They're from another dimension. Once again, I think, is that the negative zone? We find out, of course, the Kree. That's a Kree hand. I saw one video today. They were like, it's a blue hand. Maybe the Kree, maybe like y'all know that's the Kree. The Nega bands, all that Captain Marvel band stuff is connected to the Kree. That's why she has a connection to Captain Marvel. That's why she will explore it further in the Marvels, right?
Yeah.
So that's a Kree hand. They're from another dimension. Could be possibly the negative zone. I liked all that. I really liked the actor who was playing Najma. Like, I thought that even though the turn happened so quick, like I was down for it because she has such a seriousness in her fucking
She's
look.
got villain features.
She's like, fuck no. She's like, I'm in the fuck home now.
All the other
He's
people
the
are
perfect
generic.
substitute teacher.
Yeah, right. All the other people around her are kind of generic right now. I don't think they're going to be fleshed out. They're just henchmen, right?
Right.
Yeah,
but overall, I loved it. I thought it was cool. I liked these new characters. The fight, for as much as they're supposed to be so badass, like they should have handled Kamala. Let's be honest, okay? Yeah. But at least in that fight, she was just doing defensive shit until she finally did it, man. And we'll get to that. But I liked Najma a lot. And like I said, the rest of the clandestine, that's interesting that they used the clandestine because they were like, we're never going to use this. So let's just fucking, that's what they are instead of Inhumans, right? But the fact that they're connected to demons and Jinn and things like that, like I thought that was a cool connection culturally, right? And we'll get to see that explored.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, go ahead, Taki. What do you think?
Well, I mean, because the Jinn, I mean, and this is like basic Islam Sunday school stuff. The Jinn are made of fire. They're not made of light. Angels are made of light. So to me, it's like being handed down by Marvel, if that's what they're going for. Because, I mean, Najma is not a reliable witness or reliable narrator for this. We don't know what was true and what wasn't true with what she was telling. So we could, next episode when they get to Karachi, all this could spin on a dime again. So, but yeah, I didn't. That was what bothered me in Kamala, thinking that she's like part Jinn. I was like, okay, now this is starting to get kind of silly now.
Well, so to me, it's throwing in that like ancient aliens, almost Chariot of the Gods type thing, where like ancient, powerful extraterrestrial or ultra-terrestrial, which they are actually, these are ultra-terrestrials. That's awesome. I'm really into that, right? But like they get considered to be these things, right? So like I like the idea, and they mentioned a whole bunch of different things.
If
but
they
I think the
like
Jin
that,
one stuck with her because
right,
Kamala
she has
had
the
those.
background.
She
has
got that
the background, yeah. Because
Yeah.
you know, she was saying like the ghost stories are scary, but the Jin stories are really scary because they're real.
Yeah.
And that's like the Muslim experience. Like, you know, we take a ghost story and then we make, you know, we add some real elements to it, and all of a sudden it becomes a Jin story because that's a part of our faith. We have to accept that.
Yeah. So nowadays we just hear most of the rest of us who aren't, you know, right? And we've been misled into thinking that the Jinn and the genies are kind of the same thing. So we think it's like Aladdin.
Barbara Eden.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why the skin was
as
blue.
you
It
wish,
looks like
master.
genie.
Yeah. 1 billion genies or stuff.
Which it's not, but I used to believe that. I used to think that was, but that's kind of a bastardization of the concept, right?
Right.
But when I actually started when I broke out of the Christian tradition and I started exploring other things, I went to the monotheistic stuff first. And I started trying to explore that out, right? Like, okay, what else? What is Judaism like? What's Islam like? What are the teachings? What is this, right? And then I started doing those dives, and then I went outward from there. So, it's completely different. It's not like this Western idea of a genie or anything like that.
And you know, she mentioned Ajnabi, and she mentioned, I think, Masum or something like that. And I think those are different things as well. I don't know exactly what those terms are for. So maybe she was just trying to explain it in the most simplest terms and didn't mean it literally. Like I said, she's not a reliable narrator. So we'll know more at some point, hopefully. And hopefully it won't be so far away from what we start making up in our minds that we start having an Obi-Wan effect or, you know, a Star Wars effect on it.
Yeah. I think for where we're going in 3 episodes, I think they started really moving it forward. I think they're doing a good job with that. That's just me. I think they're laying it out there. They do have to sacrifice some things. 5-7 more minutes in this episode. You could have had the bit where Najma was like trying to like appeal to her one more time, right? But you don't get that, right? and at all. Taki, you got like a stash of clandestine books?
No.
Back there somewhere?
I was relying totally on you. So if you don't know, I'm going to have to, you know, go watch Emergency Awesome or
nobody knows.
You know, ask Chillmonger what the mathematics are, and you know, we're going to have to try to figure this out.
Yeah. I'm telling you, nobody read that shit, man. Like I was like, nobody read that. The
believe
people
it.
that read that were like the 40-year-olds at the time. They were like, this is the best Marvel comic. Screw that Jim Lee shit.
Right.
Okay.
Screw your image. Anyway. Brando, what'd you think?
About like the character? About no.
You got the rundown, man. We're talking about the clandestine right now, man.
I kind of touched on it earlier. I thought it was kind of fitting that they still use like a concept in Marvel that was lost. I guess like I like when they do that because they're always like still teaching us like more things that we should know about the Marvel universe that kind of slipped under our radar because there's just so much to consume out there.
Right.
So I kind of like it when they give us that, you know. Now, if I really wanted this to be like the comics, I would go read a comic, right? And I say that about all the shows. I'm not watching the shows for it to be like the comics. I'm watching the show to see how they can make this character appealing on the big screen, right? And I think they're still doing a very good job with everything, tying everything together. Kevin Feige came out the other day and said we're going to slowly get bits and pieces of where we're going in the big screen. So maybe by the end of the show, I'm thinking like, okay, maybe she really accidentally gets like nose deep into all this shit, you know? You never know because she's going to be in the Marvels, which Captain Marvel is still a very pivotal character in the Marvel universe. Arguably one of the most powerful, top 3 most powerful character, hands down. So I think that there's going to be a lot in store. I'm just like really, I'm excited for where we're going.
What do you think about? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Robbie.
I was going to say, what do you think about Najma? Like, what did you think about her introduction?
I think she's pretty compelling. She was like a friendly face at first. For like in Kamala's point of view, to her, this like a friendly face that like she saw, so she let her guard down, right? Which is something that was weighing on her throughout the duration of the show, where she couldn't go to her mother, because her mother's like, I'm here for you, but her mother really wouldn't be there for her if she said, oh yeah, by the way, I took your negative band, or I took the bangle, right? Obviously her mother wouldn't be happy with that, or like, I'm the reason why this shit's happening. Her mother wouldn't technically be there for her, for lack of a better word, or just spinning it. But I thought Najma did a very good job of like getting in with Kamala, and then really like flipping everything. I thought she's batshit crazy.
She had like one conversation with her. It's
yeah,
like what? She's like
Kamala,
16. She had one conversation.
Yeah, but Kamala like Kamala still let her guard down. Kamala still let her guard down in a way that she hasn't so far this whole show. I mean,
because really Cameron's a fucking babe, bro.
Yeah,
that's why.
He's dreamy.
He's dreamy, man, and he still seems like a good guy, which is interesting. They may be going that route. Actually, we'll see. We'll see. Fable, what did you think about the introduction of the villains of the piece?
I thought it was a little confusing. I was like, who are these guys? And then it started getting into where they came from and what was going on. I'm like, what? Wait a minute, what? She's from another dimension? Oh God. Like, first we got to deal with the bands and her not having her and big powers, and now she's from another dimension. I'm like, okay, it might be going a little too far. But like I said, at the end, when they started having the fight and they pulled out all their own weapons, which I thought was pretty cool. Like the guy had a whip, and the other guy she had a spear. I thought that was pretty cool. So like I said, whatever confusion or like lameness I felt towards them in the beginning, they made up for it at the end. They totally became badasses. So yeah. I like them. And Najma, like these guys said earlier, she definitely has villain face. There's no escaping. She has villain face. She looks like Cruella de Vil, or you know what I mean? And I just knew she was going to snake Kamala. I just didn't know she was going to be that cold with it. And that coldness was awesome.
Yeah, it really was. But I hate that the only true realization of the possible danger comes from Bruno in his bedroom in his laptop, who's able to like do all this shit. He's like such a tech nerd. I'm like, okay, between the Spider-Man movies and this movie and what's going to happen in Ironheart, is every goddamn kid in the Marvel Cinematic Universe like
just a super genius?
Like super genius, man. Like, God
that's
damn.
Marvel Comics. That's Marvel Comics.
I tell you what, in my high school, there were like 2 kids in my grade, in my class, 2 kids that were like that fucking smart. One of them became a drunk football player, and one of them is doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, there's one in every school, I guess. And Bruno is, my bad, Brian.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, I swear he does it on purpose. I love that part. That was great.
Nick, what did you think about it, man?
Yeah, I echo everything I hear here, and I think that to Fable's point, we're adding another layer of dimension in here, and also to touch on what Taki was saying, there's a lot of things that are complicating the situation, and I think we take it for granted now with all the different Marvel shows and movies. Whenever someone says, "Oh, I'm from another dimension," if that happened 10 years ago, we'd be like, "What the hell are you talking about? You're from another dimension." But now it's like, "Oh, you're from another dimension," and Kamala's face, she's like, "Oh yeah, sure." She's kind of like sarcastic and trying to figure out a way to comprehend what that would actually mean. But as a viewer, I don't know if we're going to get the explanation about what that actually means. You know what I mean? Are we actually going to see the negative zone? Like, are we going to see like what that actually is? There's just a lot of high concepts in Marvel right now, and I feel like we're taking it all for granted, honestly. But as far as the character goes, Najma, as soon as you saw more of her in this episode, you immediately thought of like Jafar, Scar, those kinds of characters where it's like, we're going to kind of play to be your buddy a little bit, and then we're going to just stab you in the back the second we can. And
that's a great comparison.
Yeah, I mean, like, even not only just the way the character was written, but like the physical appearance. We even talked about that. I think they accentuated like the sharpness of her face. You know what I mean? Like, it really, really worked. Did she act a little prematurely? Probably. Yeah, I definitely think so. So I think, like you said, Robbie, a few more minutes of character development there, twisting that narrative a little bit, giving her like a real proper reason to say, you know what, enough's enough. Let's go after her and wipe her entire family out, I guess. I needed a little bit more there to make it make sense. But and her crew, everybody else behind her is just kind of cannon fodder. Yeah. Really, they're going to showcase some of the abilities. They might have a name, but like, we're not going to focus on any of these people. Probably.
I'm looking forward to them combining into one giant clandestine, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
that's
just
gonna
a
be
giant Power Ranger. Yeah.
a few more minutes of additional stuff could have added in the weight of why it is so necessary for them to go now.
Right.
Because they're like, we've been here for so long.
Yeah, for like over 100 years.
But we don't understand. We don't get a sense of the urgency from her part.
Yeah.
And they totally gave away the Scar bit when she does that, busts out into that random musical number of "Be Prepared." You know,
that was dead giveaway. Right. Dead giveaway.
Yeah, dead giveaway. There's some great characters that have been introduced and are now being elaborated on in this show. Kamala, to Nakia, to Bruno, to Cameron, to everybody. So I want everybody to kind of pick a different one to focus on, and we'll go around. Okay. Right. I want to start with the parents. I love the way the parents are being developed. The mother, she tells that story about when she came to America and how isolated she felt. And we just covered this movie called Saint Maud. And it's a woman who was in a very isolated moment of her life. And she finds religion. But she doesn't find a church, meaning she doesn't find a community, right? She just finds the religious theory interpreted by her. It goes horribly wrong. Kamala's mother finds a community within her religion, within her spirituality. And that's at times even the most important thing. And we learned about that community in the last one. And I love that they continue to punctuate the importance of the community in this show. And I love her and the dad. Every time the dad's on screen, I just smile like from ear to ear. He's probably still my favorite character.
Yeah, you could tell he's good cop all day.
Oh yes, you know it, man.
No, this guy's like lit. This guy's like lit.
He's the guy that wants to dress up as Hulk and go to Avengers Con with you.
Yeah. I love that apple pie scene, that cherry pie scene.
Yes.
I just. And like anyone else, that would have just been a forgettable scene. But I'm just sitting here eating it up. Like, keep on talking, man. Keep on going. Keep talking.
He made me want to go get one.
Yeah, you know.
Yes. I was like, I haven't had one of those in years.
And
there's something about the synthetic taste.
What he says to his son before he gets married, I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And how that was a reflection of the scene that Kamala had with her mother, and then Kamala kind of gets different advice from her father, but given to his son, right? I loved it. I thought that was great. What about you, Tucky? What's a character development that you like to highlight?
So I'm really hoping they're going to do more with Amir's wife. And I really hope that they're going to do more with Zoe, because she has a Cordelia character arc in the comic. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to, I mean, the way we're moving, we might be able to do it in the next 3 episodes. But she wasn't even in this episode, and they only showed her for a little bit in the episode before. So those are 2 characters I'm hoping we see more of. So I just thought I would mention them because it'll be fun.
I agree. You're right with that Cordelia effect she has in the book.
Yeah.
And that would be really cool to see expanded on here. What about you, Brando?
I really want to I want to focus on the leader of the mosque, the Imam. I know he wasn't on like the list that we got for the blueprint, but I wanted to. I could talk about somebody else if you want to.
No, go for it, bro.
But really, like the Muslim faith and Judaism, really not that far different. None of the like Christianity, Muslim, or Judaism, they're really not that far different from each other. If you really take the time to think about it and dissect it. I remember in Israel, I was talking with a rabbi. And it was like it was a really similar situation, right? We were in Israel. We were with one of my mom's friends that from when she went years ago. We met with him. A rabbi came to the house and everything. And I was kind of having a bad day, right? And I was on the porch and I was like, we were talking, right? And I was like kind of asking like very similar questions, but it was like, it almost felt like I saw myself in that whole scene. It was like I don't know what, like, to me, like that character is so powerful. Like Kamala had her Uncle Ben moment in this episode. You know, good is not something you are, it's something you do. You know, that was honestly the most powerful quote of this movie. And the Imam is a leader in this community. He's someone that brings people together, you know? So I really think that Kamala felt safe around him. I think she will continue to feel safe around him. And I think that this character really believes in Miss Marvel, right? and almost like knows without knowing that she was trying to confide in him, right? Because for some reason, like a lot of like older people, like for therapy, I see a father, right? A Jew seeing a father, right? And they have like some of the most unique outlooks on life, and it's like they almost know instantly, right? Just from like one conversation. I thought that was really important. So I really, really like that character, and I really hope that we see more of his leadership in the community going forward. Once it's like revealed that obviously Kamala is native to that mosque, and the word starts getting out more. I hope that he's a big leader and on her side for the long term of the show. And
it is a great character. I liked seeing a lot more of him being displayed in this episode, and you know, because if you look, and there's a gradualness to it, and I really like that. What about you, Fable? What's a character arc that you want to highlight as being one of your favorites right now?
Yeah, I was gonna go with the Imam too, because I did like that line he said, where he said, you know, good is not something you are, it's something you do. I thought that was the line of the show. And I also liked his Yoda-ness, if you will. Like, you know, everybody's all serious and he's like joking around, but he's like the leader still, you know what I mean? So
he's kind of carefree, man. I really like that.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, I'll highlight Cameron. Because Cameron in the beginning, when they started joking about him, something with Kamala, and he started getting really embarrassed, which shows that it's just not an act. It wasn't just to get her in. So that was growth right there. And then at the end, like you said, when he crashed, when he came to save her, when he found out his mother, what her intentions were, it's like he woke up a little bit right there. He's like, my mom is crazy, right? Like he just said, holy smoke, I really got to save this girl. So, you know, him fighting. I mean, I'm sure he hangs out with these guys every day.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, it didn't show off in the show, like, you know, don't make me punch you in the face or something. But, you know,
I mean, he threw down though. He threw down and he put himself in the way, man. And that's the thing. I was like, you know, in the comics, this version of this character kind of goes wrong, right? And it's like, it's all a ploy. Man, if we really want to build up that emotional connection that's going to happen when Bruno leaves to Caltech at the end, after Kamala realizes that it's him and not Cameron, right? So like, you still got to keep him in play as the romantic interest, right? You still got to do that. We know how this goes, man. I watched Cheers. I know how they Sam and Diane this shit to death, man. I understand. But yeah, really, really cool to see him exceed my expectations, not just as a character, but as a performer. The cat that's playing him is doing a phenomenal job. Speaking of phenomenal, what about you, Nick? What do you think?
I want to see more from the mom, because I think she had just such a great introduction in the first episode. I think we all loved that character. I think Fable and I were like fighting over our favorite character, and that was the mom or something like that. Wow. I think, and we kind of touched on this before, it's a little bit confusing about what she actually knows and what she doesn't know at the moment. So I hope we go in that direction. I almost feel like she just remembers these ghost stories, and maybe she doesn't have any direct contact with the craziness that, you know, is in her family history and what the Bengals actually can do. I think that I want to see that played out a little bit more, but I'm starting to lean towards maybe she's just ignorant and doesn't really know, and she just believes all these ghost stories and this curse and things like that, and the disgrace that was put on her family, you know. So I hope it goes in the direction where she actually knows what's going on, and it'll kind of play itself out in a really natural way. But I'm not entirely sure it's going to play out like that, but I want to see that happen because she was such a cool character. She had that really great moment with when she fell off the bike, when Kamala fell off the bike, and she was kind of like cleaning her up and bandaging her and telling her about the importance of family. That particular scene, it was kind of hard for me to interpret how Kamala was taking that advice. Like, oh, do I really confide in my parents and my brother and everything else, or do I go to this other new family that has just come in and kind of embraced them? So I was kind of like of two minds in that conversation. But I think it just shows how great the mom's been so far. I just think that her knowledge and her purpose in the show is a little bit cloudy for me personally still, but I love the character.
Nice. All right. I'm having a little bit of internet issues right now, so bear with me. Maybe it's over now. Could just be temporary. Good points by all. Absolutely. I think that the mother is going to be on this journey in the next episode and knows a little bit, but not the full story. And I think through the grandmother, we're going to get the full story, right? Or we're going to be able to piece it back together. So next episode is, I think, going to be the dive. And I mean, they're going to go to Pakistan. They're going to have this journey, and I'm all for it because I want to know. And then that gives us 2 more episodes to do it. So the villains are not going to be fleshed out very much in the 6-episode series because so much has to be done to build up Kamala. So tying the villains into the origin makes it an easier pill to swallow. They do that a lot in movies, or things like in Ultimate Spider-Man, the comic book, how they tied Norman Osborn in with the origin of Peter Parker to kind of get him in and out and then go to the next villain and then develop him further along as they go. So we'll see. Just as long as they don't make the mistakes that comic book movies used to make and kill the villain at the end of each movie or series, then you're like, well, you can never have Jack Nicholson come back. They're like, bro, we ain't gonna be able to pay him to come back for part 2. So we're going to take his salary, split it, and get Michelle Pfeiffer and Danny DeVito. I'm sure that's how that worked. But let's talk about the wedding. I loved the wedding. I was expecting it to be in the finale. I'm glad it wasn't. Glad we got to it. I'm glad that the newlywed couple got to have their spot. It was cool to see a different wedding ceremony than what I'm used to. And I'm loving diving into their family, into their culture, into their community, just a little bit. Right. Because I feel like I'm like, oh, this is interesting to me, man. I want to know and experience more of this. Right. So I loved that. And you know me, I love a musical scene. They mentioned there was going to be a Bollywood scene in the film. I think we've reached it. And I loved it. Like most people would roll their fucking eyes and hate that scene, but I loved it. It brings that joy. I'm sitting there just smiling ear to ear, just like fucking loving it, man. What'd you think about the wedding, Taki?
I was happy to see a mixed marriage. I mean, that's not something that you really see a whole lot in a Muslim community, a Pakistani male marrying an African-American female. And I thought that was great. And I thought the merging of the 2 families, even though I think both of them are Muslim. And, the different, Aisha's mother's most likely Muslim, but she wasn't necessarily covered the same way that Kamala's mother was covered. So I just, one of the strong things about the Muslim community is we have people from all over the world and all different varieties. And I thought that they did a good job of putting that on display.
Yeah, they did. Is the portrayal pretty accurate in this with the cultural aspect of Islam and Muslims?
I would say for the most part. I mean, and that's why the jinn thing really troubles me so much. But I would say that they're getting a 9 out of 10 on that or higher.
Nice.
And this is the crazy thing for me is like, and this is the Bon Jovi from last week, was like Kamala's parents are probably my age in all reality. And I was like, well, Bon Jovi isn't really a group. I mean, maybe Guns N' Roses, maybe, but not Bon Jovi. That's a little bit too old. But I think that my generation or the second generation, their take on it is more or less what we're seeing now. Or Sana Arnett, the co-creator, or G. Willow Wilson's a convert like me. But I think this is more or less the way the community or the people have progressed in American society.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Brandon, what do you think about the wedding? Did you like that scene?
I thought that was like my favorite scene of the whole movie. I mean, it was just a joyous occasion for everybody watching, and the audience really felt the energy that they were trying to give off. I think they did a very good job at executing exactly what feelings they wanted to emote in the audience watching. And it was very well shot. I'm not really going to talk too much on it because I know you guys are going to take that up, but I loved it, man.
Nice. I thought it was a better scene than Avengers Con.
Oh,
I was more into that and the festival in the last episode. That's what I'm into. But I also, if you think about it, Kamala's trying to find her own identity, as part of her family and her community, but as part of herself too. Avengers Con, something she's into. That's a festival we were introduced that was important to her. And then we get to see the festival in the last episode, the wedding in this one. And there's like a social event in each one that's important to the characters in this film or in the show. And I like that. I wonder if they're going to keep that. I mean, at this point, you can't, but maybe you can. Maybe when they get to Pakistan, there's something going on there, right? And like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I like that. I think it's interesting. And maybe this is also this Marvel Studios being like, we're just as important as any Islamic festival or wedding, the MCU. Anyway, what about you, Fable? What do you think about the wedding scene?
Oh, this was the money shot. We talked about the graphics being missing because of the budget. I think this is where it went on the wedding, man. It was well shot, costumes, the attention to the people attending the wedding, the detail in that. Like you can get a lot of story from the way they were shooting things and doing things. Like,
did anybody else notice that kid wearing the Incredible Hulk suit that the dad was?
That was awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of little story beats in that whole production that they did. I thought the choreography was cute and awesome, and I thought the music choices were great. But yeah, it was beautiful. It's a beautiful scene, and more of what I think we all enjoyed from this show, right? And at the same time, as different as it is as it's the same it is, right? Weddings and weddings, man. Yep. Two people getting together, let's party. You know what I'm saying? So, just the context of whatever the religions or whatever we follow, we're still human beings at the end of the day, and everybody can relate to it.
That's what I love about it. I mentioned this last week, but like watching the wedding, watching the religious festival the previous week or whatever, like seeing how similar it is to what I was brought up in with the Christian churches. Like I was picking up those vibes. I was like, oh my God, all the women in the church talked like that. They gossiped all the fucking time. They were the what do they call them? The Illuminantes. Oh my God, like right. There's all those. There's the mosque bros. There were those. I was one of them. Let's be honest, okay. But it was fun. It was fun. The pious guy, the pious boys or whatever.
Guy. Yeah, I was a pious boy.
I was a little pious. I'll be honest with you. I'd like to add that I was a little bit more rebellious, but I don't want to kayfabe too much, man. Like I was a little pious. I was like that kid wearing Jesus shirts to high school, tucked in. Oh my God, what's wrong with me, man? I'm glad there's not too many pictures of that. Anyway, 100%. It's cultural and it's unique and it seems different than what some of us have experienced. But at the same time, when you start looking at it, it's the same. It's the human experience. It's just through different lenses. It's the same thing. And it's all love. It's joy. It's greed. It's power. It's lust. It's like we all have the same goddamn story. And like, that's what's so fucking amazing about the show to me is that it's bringing it in a sadly, a culture that's not a culture and a spirituality that's not illuminated much in popular fiction nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I'm all for it. I want more of it.
I think like what everyone's just saying is the whole wedding was a very basic human feeling. This show is doing a really good job at generating just basic human feelings that we can all vibe with. It doesn't matter if you're 7 years old or it doesn't matter if you are, 55, you're going to generate these same feelings, right? Because people dwell on that spiritual happiness that brings us all together.
And the best
part, if you haven't watched this show and you're in the chat, it's worth checking out. Definitely.
The best part of the wedding to me is Brown Jovi. Brown Jovi. And they're even like, we do bar mitzvahs. We do sweet 16s. Like,
bro, I honestly wanted to see if they were going to do a cover of Living on a Prayer, but like mix up some of the words, kind of like how Brother Joe and Bobby does it for the Blame Fable show. I wanted to see if they were going to mix up the words. I would have lied my ass off. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I think they did better by just playing the song.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because, like I said before, when they said Bon Jovi, I was like, I don't know. Guns N' Roses, maybe not Bon Jovi. Then in this episode they played "Living on the Prayer," and I was like, yeah, Bon Jovi. Yep.
I feel like the parents are 10 years older than me for some reason, but they probably are my age. So the Bon Jovi doesn't make sense, right? It should be Pearl Jam or Green Day or some shit.
I mean, by the time Pearl Jam came around, I was 100% hip hop by that point. So
I think it should be PM Dawn, is what I think, because I think that we need
KRS-One,
bruh. All right, we can do that.
Rest in peace, PM Dawn.
Wouldn't it make sense when they came over here, kind of thing?
Yeah.
Right.
I like that. That's like, a connection. They're like
growing up with it.
I love that she comes in. She's like, "Fucking John Bon Jovi. This is America, God damn it!"
Yeah.
And I guess it is
New Jersey.
the Generation Next
Yeah.
spring feel. Bruce Springsteen, right?
Springsteen.
Yeah, like that Jersey boy, because he's from that area, right? Like, so
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense too.
Bon Jovi's from Jersey too, and that's kind of what I thought too. Maybe it's a Jersey thing.
I'm sure it is.
But
Yeah.
then I heard "Living on a Prayer" and I was like, okay, you know what? I get it.
I get it.
And it ties in
get it.
thematically with some of the elements going on. I liked it. Did No, we didn't. Nick, what do you think about the wedding?
I loved it a lot. I liked the mixture of the culture. I just like the music that they played. It was very theatrical. I enjoyed the dance routine. I don't like going to weddings, but after seeing this one, that was one that I could actually like enjoy going to.
I'd go to that wedding.
Right?
I'll tell you that.
It was
Weddings are not
colorful.
that hype, man. Let me
No.
tell you, man.
No, they
Unless
suck.
you start playing, I used to be a wedding DJ for a while. If you start playing Everybody Dance Now, Gonna Make You Sweat by CNC Music Factory, you'll get everybody going. Like, trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I could totally see myself going to that and having a good time. I just like the way that they put it together really well. It was fun. I think the pacing was perfect. I think the I do's were really charming and cute, and they were funny, but they were thoughtful. We talked about the human element and that whole thing. So I thought they did a great job of mixing that all together. It was just enough time. It didn't take up the entire episode. It was impactful. It was fun. I liked it a lot. I think they nailed it. It was good.
What's the brother's name? Amir or something like that?
Amr.
He's great.
Amr. I love the bit when they think there's a fire. He goes and grabs the fucking money.
Oh yeah, because he only has $748.12
And
or
the
something.
dad's like, I'm surprised you have that much.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's holding the cash outside too. Like
We've
this.
all been there. We're like, I don't think I'm worth this woman because I only got this much in my bank account, and like, what am I doing?
Literally.
He's really funny. He's really funny, dude.
I love the dad,
I
and he just so happens to show up to translate this fucking shit about the gin to Bruno. And he's so happy to do it. He must be.
So carefree.
I think he likes another American tradition. I don't know, man. I'm just saying. I think he showed up. He's like, "Oh, I love these pies. Don't tell my wife, bro. What is this? Oh, the gin. This is funny. I fucking love it, man." All right.
Shades on. Yeah.
The wedding leads to the big fight between the clandestine and Miss Marvel, and I love that she's going defensive, and it does feel like these people are about to kill her. And you get that sense of weight. At the same time, I thought that this should have been easier for them, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just saying that, like, Miss Marvel ain't got no training yet. You know what I'm saying? She's still Nightbright or whatever the fuck they're calling her, right?
Nightlight.
she did nothing spectacular. She did nothing. All she
But when
did was
she does
bust
do
her
that-
ass the entire time.
But when she does that moment, though, and she realizes the
That's it.
offensiveness of her,
It's instinctiveness. Like, her blocking all their shots, they of course they should have killed her faster. But they, that shield that she has is impenetrable. And every
She's
time they
powerful,
swing at her, it just shoots out of her. You know what I mean? The damn shield. So it's kind of hard to get her.
It's instinctual, and she's starting to get into it. I think because she's actually wearing the band, she's even got more access to that power, the light or whatever it's called. So, like, they mentioned they have a fraction of it, but you don't see any displays of it aside from them just, I guess, being Captain America-esque, like everybody is. And apparently we learned in Obi-Wan tonight that Jedis have, like, tough-ass skin, too. I don't know. But anyway, we'll talk about that at a later date. Taki, what do you think about the big battle at the end? How did it work for you?
I think the money shot I think where all the production budget went to was at Fist. I think that's where I think the budget went to.
For sure.
Yeah, I thought that their suit was going to, or not her suit, but I thought it was like the bracelet was going to be automatic, like when Spider-Man had the iron suit, and it was, self-defense mode, and I thought that that's what was going to happen. Yeah, I mean, they just didn't seem big and bad enough to me. I thought that the fight wasn't really all that. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with this episode. I mean, some of the parts they hit out of the park, and other things they just kept swinging and missing. So,
yeah, I think that they could have developed more of these villains, but it would have hindered the development of Kamala's world. I think they decided we needed to world build more of Kamala's community than we need to build up these villains.
See, what I would have done is Kamala's a black belt before the first episode, and I would have showed her in karate class that first episode so that we don't need to like see her learn how to fight. Like she already kind of has an idea of it. Just so that we don't need to like now she's powered. Now she could actually defend herself, and it's logical. That's just the world I live in.
Yeah. It's like Elektra. Oh, she was trained. She's like a goddamn expert fucking level martial artist already.
And for them to have 5 people going against her, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
she should have been killed. Let's just be straight up, man.
Maybe.
But maybe they're trying to take it a little bit easier on her, but there should have been more development. Y'all are right. There should have been more development with the clandestine and why it was so urgent for them. And yeah,
I guess I could say it here though, but Damage Control didn't have any problems with them.
Yeah, you're right about that. And that was forecast. You could see that was how it was going to wrap up. They were going to come in, save the day. But I like that she still hasn't, because it could easily be like, okay, now her and Bruno have to team up with them to solve everything. But they avoided that yet again. What about you, Brandon? What did you think about the fight at the end?
I mean, I thought it was fun. You know, it was really one of Kamala's like first big fight. She had no clue what the fuck she was doing, right? And I guess like everything is still pretty true to character. I mean, she has something that's really powerful, and it's like kind of bailing her out. I mean, is it perfect? Is it as exciting as like the fight scenes we saw in Hawkeye or Winter Soldier? No, but those are more experienced, or Falcon Winter Soldier. Then they're just more experienced, you know. These guys didn't really have any weapons that were made to kill her, you know. They had a belt. They had
this one dude had a fucking hammer, like
they had spears and shit.
Yeah, bro,
I mean,
come on.
But it wasn't Thor's hammer. I mean, honestly, it's like I see like the kind of youthism that was going on in it. I mean, she's not an experienced fighter at all, so it's like you weren't gonna get like. I think people just have too high expectations for that scene. You know, it's a kid trying to like protect herself at the end of the day, right? Just break it down. I liked it. I thought it was fitting.
5 trained superpowered people come after me at a wedding. I don't care what the fuck bracelet I got. I am getting got, dude. I am gone. Bye, Rockin Robbie.
Didn't get got.
Yeah, that's the problem.
What we're
that's
saying,
the argument.
There could have been more development. Like, could have been.
There could have been, but if you're looking at how to budget your time, right? We're kind of talking a little bit on where the money went. Well, the time is going into Kamala because she's going to outlast all these other characters. So build her up, and you can lose a little bit on the villains. Disney does not keep those kind of villains around, right?
Two Gun makes a good point. She didn't get offensive until she had to say Bruno.
Yeah,
that is a good point. That's good. What do you think, Fable? You already elaborated a little bit on it. What do you think? You're over there shaking your head, grabbing your neck, man, like you're stressed. You're anxious. Yeah.
No, I loved it, man. I thought it was great. I thought she was on defense mode, just like they said just now, the whole time. I think that the powers kind of are subconscious. They're not necessarily her trying to do things. Like there was a point where I guess they hit her in her chest or something, and she had a whole like kind of body armor shining on her. So if you can't get through those, whatever it is, crystal shields, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're always going to put your hands up when somebody swings at you, unless you just let people hit you. That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
And she was getting her ass whooped, like, because she did get hit several times. And that's what made it seem kind of brutal. Like, yo, she's 16 years old.
And the whole episode, you feel from her that she's in over her head and that she knows this. Right. So it is kind of scary to her, and you are experiencing that.
Yeah. And she's running away the whole time, trying to get away. They're chasing her.
I'm coming back around on this. I'm coming back around.
Yeah. No, I disagree.
And then she has to go home and deal with, did you pull the fire alarm?
Yeah.
Like, yo, Mom, it's a way worse than that.
Like, it's been a long night, Mom.
Brandon made a good point, you know, when he said that, I'm sorry, I lost this point already.
Shit happens.
All right, I don't make many good points, so it's
no, you did. Oh, yes, you made a good point when you said this is her first fight. This is your first battle, as like this wannabe superhero because she hasn't even solidified her name. She's not even in the door. Like she's got a foot in the superhero thing. You know what I mean? She just got her mask from Bruno, which we didn't. Did she wear
No, we
it?
didn't see it yet.
Didn't even put it on yet.
She didn't even fucking put it on.
She didn't put
No.
it on yet. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I love the fight. I thought it was a good fight. And as far as the hand, I mean, come on, Tacky. Manny can make that hand. You kidding me?
I don't think he could. I mean, I love him,
he
so
might be
I
able
love
to.
him, but
I don't know how much you charge him.
Yeah.
you know, this whole week I was looking at this thumbnail and I was like, "What is that? Is that Zordon?" Then I realized,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Cameron or whatever and from the comic book, right?
Oh,
yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Didn't quite pan out. You got to think ahead. You got to think better, Manny. No, I'm just kidding. Now, great thumbnail once again for Manny. What about you, comic culture, Nick?
Hmm.
Comic culture from Nick. What did you think about that last battle?
Yeah, I think we covered it. It's her first battle, mostly defensive, instinctual powers, manifestation. Right. We touched on the fact that when she saw Bruno/Brian about to be killed, presumably, that she really kind of came out and really took the offensive. I thought that was fun. When she used those little platforms to like parkour up, and then they threw something and it shattered one of them and she fell. Like that's her trying to be a little bit more creative, because until then she was just putting up these shields left and right. And then she's like, I got to do something else, man, because this is just not working out. So she's trying to do other stuff, trying to incorporate what she learned in that training montage. I think it was episode 2. I did enjoy that. I think to solve the problem of 500-plus-year-old trained, presumably assassin type people, you maybe just needed to introduce maybe 2 of them instead of more than that, because
All
then
5, right?
that would have solved the issue probably of like, how could she possibly survive? Like, I don't care if you're super powered. If you have these trained people with those exotic weapons, you're going to got pretty soon. You have plans, right? You have attack strategies and stuff. It's not just like whatever. The kitchen scene was reminiscent of like Jurassic Park with
It was.
with
I
the
thought
kids,
of that
right?
immediately.
They're like
Yeah.
hanging out in there and they're all walking through and whatever. So that was pretty fun. I will say some of the music that they used throughout the fight scenes didn't do it for me at all. Like, especially when it went out from the kitchen to like the ballroom to like the hallway or whatever that was, like the foyer or whatever it was. Those music beats didn't work for me. And I remember watching it and I was going like, wow, that just doesn't feel right. Like, I don't think they nailed that part at all.
I'm gonna have to go back and revisit that, because
Yeah.
one of my favorite things about the show is the music.
That's why I bring it up, because
Yeah,
like usually
didn't
the
notice.
music and all the other scenes has been so strong
Right.
that as second it was wrong, it just jumped out and like slapped me, and it kind of took me out a little bit. But I hope that, I mean, you assume that as this show goes on, her power set's going to become more impressive. It's going to be more purposeful, and she'll be able to take on these threats. Like the episode 6 Kamala would be able to wipe the floor with these guys, right? Versus like the episode 3 Kamala. So I'm hoping that we get more into that as we go. We're seeing her being more creative, like I said. But I don't know. It was good. It was bad. The fist was the best part. I don't know. I agree.
I bet when we get to the Marvels, we get a training montage somewhere in Act 2, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready for
The
it.
montage.
Like
This is how you
Monica
fly through
and Carol
spaceships.
teaching
Eye
her
of the
how to
Tiger.
fucking fight. Yeah, they need to do that. And if you think about it, Captain Marvel was pretty much like all of the cliches of a 90s action film, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, do it. Like fucking lean
Yeah.
into that with Captain Marvel, with the Marvel series. Like, lean into the action movie kind of like cliches. Lean into it. Let's have a
Maybe
training
she-
montage.
Maybe she downloads it like Neo.
I
Maybe she
hate
just gets
that.
it.
Like, I want the training montage. I want Carl Weathers out there in the fucking beach, in the water, like fucking cheering at the end of it with them and all that shit, man.
Big
Stretching
bro
her
hugs.
arms.
I want a Rocky 2 goddamn, or Rocky 4 fucking montage, man. That's what I want.
I mean, you're
That's Rocky
getting,
4, right? Where they're doing they're at the
yeah,
beach and Apollo's training them, right?
yeah, that's right.
Is that Rocky 4 or 3? That's 3.
I think that's 3.
I think
That's
that's
three,
3
'cause
because
in
in
4
4
he
he's
dies.
lost the motivation,
He
right?
dies
He's just
quick.
like, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, he died. Like, Apollo dies in 4. So, yeah, that's 3.
Right.
Y'all
Yeah.
know the one I'm goddamn talking about. They're hugging in the at the
Yeah.
beach.
On
you
the
know?
beach. Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking
Yeah.
love that. That's by the way, the vibe of the PCP Army Bad Batch. Like, let's just say that.
Just hugs all around.
Hugging each other at the beach.
Yeah,
we hug each other, and then at the end of each episode, we almost hit each other.
Yeah, like,
we always stop.
In the shortest shorts you hold.
Yeah.
Whatever shorts.
It's all involving Carl Weathers, and then on Saturdays we're like, Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, Dylan's like still sleeping on the other side of the beach still while this is going on.
Bro, you know it. All right, time to rate the show. You out there, if you watched episode 3 of Miss Marvel, let us know out of 5 possible you digs. What do you give it? Taki, what do you give it?
3.5. Or 0.372589 Bitcoin because of inflation.
Any elaboration on why 3.5?
I think you guys kind of convinced me that, you know, the show makes you feel good. They need to clear the stuff up with her mother and with her power. Not necessarily her power set. She could still be discovering it, but the origins of it. And I thought the clandestine was a little sloppy. I mean, we just talked about the fight scene. I mean, what Nick said is absolutely correct. If they would have did the mother, and then the mother gets captured, and then you see another one coming, and then, you know, you'd have all 5 of them maybe at the beginning of the episode, so you know that there's 5 of them, and they each come at her a different way, and then by episode 6, she's whooping all of them. That would have been a lot better. So
Two Guns got a good point too. Cameron shows up and just kind of handles a couple of them.
yeah,
Right.
So there is that. Like, he had like a damn blood sport death match with that one dude, man.
with the belt dude.
Yeah, man.
With the tank guy.
He's
They,
like, I got a
didn't
goddamn
they-
necklace, bro. What you gonna do?
You know?
Didn't they break Bruno's arm too?
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
He did something. It was some kind of weird, ambiguous injury.
Ah.
But like that belt thing, I mean,
He's the new
I
Winter
thought,
Soldier.
yeah, I thought that belt thing was be like razor sharp. You know what I mean? Like he would whip it around and just like cut you right in half. And dude took it like in the arm, and he's like just chilling.
I think it's just his belt, bro. I think it's just.
No, I thought they
You might
weaponized
just
some kind of a
see.
thing.
I
Somebody
bought
told
this
me.
shit at Hot Topic. It's got studs,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
if his pants would have fell down, it would have been a 4 for
That
me.
would have been funny.
That would have
Just-
been great, man. That would have been.
That's all it would have taken.
If Sam Raimi directed this, that's what would have happened. Let's just guarantee that. Brandon, what about you? Out of 5 possible you digs, what do you give Miss Marvel episode 3 Destined?
Last week I gave it a 4.69. This week I'm gonna keep the same score. I'm not ready to give it a perfect 5 yet. I think that I want to give enough chance for something better to come around. I think that's gonna happen. So I'm gonna keep my same score from last week.
Mhm.
All right, 4.69. What about you, Fable?
I was going to give it a 3.5 only because it dropped a lot of its tropes from the first 2 episodes. I was really disappointed that visually some of the stuff going on was not used in this episode. It looked like any other TV episode of anything, you know, at that point. But I like the fight. I love the wedding. So 4. I gave the other 2 4. This one continues 4.
All right. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, you know, this one's hard because I think I've given it a 4 every single time, but I'm trying to think compared to those other ones how I feel about this one. Man, I'll probably go 3.75. I'm gonna go 3.75. I didn't enjoy it as much as episode 1 and 2, but I think the strong points about it again were just like all the human elements, the feeling, the emotion, the characters, and things like that. Story wise, I think it took a dip, but I feel like the characters and the feels that you get throughout the episode, I think those were as good as they ever have been. So, and the fight kind of made me a little bit mad. So I'll go 3.75.
Okay. I've given a 4.5 to each episode so far, and I want to do it here, but y'all are right about that fight and about the villains are interesting enough, but there's not enough buildup of them. They are focusing so much, and what they're doing amazing stuff with Kamala, her friends, her community, her family, but at the expense of the villains, right? So that is one of the weaker aspects of the show, but I don't want to drop down to a 4. So I'll go a 4.369 is what I'll do. That's what I'll do.
Nice.
So 4.369 from me, 3.55 from Taki, 4.69 from Brando, a 4, was it, Fable? And a 3.75 from you? Man, that's tough math now. Ever since we added these .25s and .69s. $4.069, dude. Hell yeah, it works. And I wonder what Steph thought. We'll find out next week, hopefully.
When I talked to Steph earlier, he said a 5. He said it was a 5 for him.
A 5?
5.
Has he given every episode a 5?
Yes,
We're throwing 5s out like candy.
Yeah.
He really likes it.
Yes, that's
Is he even watching it? What if?
Yeah.
Maybe he's off researching the clandestine.
Overall, yeah, right. Maybe he's probably
He
right
probably
now.
got deep off into it.
We just found he's been at 6 comic shops today looking for clandestine.
In the dollar bins, looking for clandestine number 1.
Because everybody's like, he's like, do you have them? He's like, in the dollar bins, maybe.
I don't know.
He doesn't realize Bobby has them all.
Bobby has them all.
Yeah, Bobby already got them.
But he bought them for the art. Alan Davis, fantastic artist. Anyway,
that's right.
They picked that one because they were like, nobody's going to bitch about this. Nobody knows who the fuck this is. Because even the people that know didn't read it, like Rockin Robbie. So there you go. But today I did get to the shop and I was talking with Mike and I was like, you think we should see what clandestine issues we have? And I did, and we didn't have any of the key ones, so it's all good.
There are key issues. Okay.
Well, the key issue is the Marvel Comics. Right? Key issues for like what, another week? Like if that. Like let's just come until when does Key Collector do their update?
I'm actually looking right now on Key Collector just to see if it's on there.
You know, Nick's all about that spec.
All right, we'll be here.
Yeah, you know me.
Next week for episode 4 on Wednesday. This has been so fun, y'all. I cannot wait to do She-Hulk after this when we get to it. Nice. I wish we would have done we could have done one for Obi-Wan, but then we would have missed out on this. And I'm really glad this is committing me to watch the episode every Wednesday. And I'm fucking loving it, y'all. I'm digging it.
Were they releasing both of the episodes on the same day, too?
For Obi-Wan and Miss Marvel?
Obi-Wan and Miss Marvel on the same day?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a mistake, bro.
Yeah, that's a big time mistake.
That's a big mistake, bro. It really 100% is. Because this is a show that hopefully word of mouth will spread. Because there are people that are waiting for it to fail. And that's fine. I don't give a shit what people want. That's fine.
Yeah.
Do you. You do you. I'll do me. I judge everything just based on my experience. This has been a joyful show, and I love it. And hopefully, and everybody I've seen, like all of us here, and everybody that I see online that's like watching it, my friends, like they all really like it. I mean, 3 and above is liking the show to me, y'all. So like we're all digging.
That's how math works. Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
people don't understand that, but yeah.
I might be giving it a 3.5, but I still liked it. Right. You should see what I give, what I don't like.
Exactly. I'm ready for that, bro.
You use the full scale, right?
I'll go negative.
Use the top half.
I mean,
I'll go negative.
I wish we would have done this for Moon Knight, man. We would have had so much fun.
Right.
It would have been all over the place, probably too.
Like,
and Steph would have been like, "I don't know, man. 5."
I mean, on a real note, I'm glad we're doing Miss Marvel over Obi-Wan. I'm a much bigger Star Wars fan than I am a Marvel fan. Star Wars is my favorite fandom, but we don't really need to be talking about Obi-Wan because everyone who's watching it is either loving it or they're really just not watching it, you know? Obi-Wan doesn't need word of mouth to get out there. It has that kind of weight. Miss Marvel is something that people need to be talking about, right? So I'm glad we're picking this over it.
Absolutely.
I think there's a lot of people talking about Obi-Wan. Yeah. And a lot of people are watching it and are having negative reactions to it because
people hate watch that shit, bro.
Yeah.
People in today's world, people just love to hate on stuff, and it's just like it's getting ridiculous. It's almost like taking the fun out of it, right? That's kind of why I don't. That's why I just not on social media like that anymore. It's because everyone has something to complain about. Like Steph was telling me earlier that people were bitching about the young girl who's playing Princess Leia, but she's doing a great job in my opinion. I'm like,
I think so too.
She's also a kid, right? 10 years, she's going to be one of the best actors in the world, probably.
She's better than Jake Lloyd.
So
as little Annie, let's just say that.
You know what?
So
there's a corniness or quirkiness to the show. Like you guys mentioned Saved by the Bell earlier.
Yeah.
I think that's a great comparison because that show wasn't like, it's not the best show ever, but the corniness and the positivity of it, I don't know. It's just something I'm attracted to.
Comfort food.
I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, like TGIF. Remember Family Matters and all of that? I mean, this has that quality to
Perfect
it.
Strangers, baby.
Yeah, exactly. This has it. This has that in it. And I guess some of that is why I'm just like, it doesn't have to have the best special effects. It doesn't have to have the best action sequences. Just seeing this little girl live her life with these powers is enough.
Facts.
Plus, it reminds me of that episode where Zach's evil aunt from another dimension showed up and just started wrecking through, but Screech luckily had found this fucking friendship bracelet that he was wearing.
At his
one
wedding.
of those snap bracelets or a friendship bracelet. Like, all right. Thank you all for being here. You out there in the chat. Thank you all, panel, for being here. Taki, what's coming up? What you got?
Hopefully another haul video this weekend. Or some real content. Go to my channel and find out this Saturday.
Brando, what's coming up, bro?
Honestly, not much. Just the show stuff. We took off this week because honestly, I was not feeling like recording. My dog passed over the weekend. It's my second dog that passed in a month.
Sorry to hear that, bro.
So I'm just seeing where it goes. I'm gonna try out some new stuff, but creating content is just really just overwhelming right now. So
oh yeah, man.
I got this and I got you guys. That's all I need.
Bro, we got you. Is what it is, man.
Word.
We got you. Fable. Bro, what's coming up, man? Y'all are doing a good movie review this week. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, man. Steph knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern on IG Live, we do Fable's Got You Covered, where I just show off the new comic book day picks, hot cover picks, in my opinion, for new comic book day, the 29th, I believe, is the next one.
For next week.
So yeah. Check us out. I'll be joined by my brother Brandon. He's gonna hang with me and do it. Go over the covers with us. So that's tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern. And Sunday, of course, Blame Fable, the official pre-lead-in show to Rockin Robbie Live. We're gonna have Big Steve, Team Nerd Herd, on. That's gonna be a lot of fun, and the movie will be The Animatrix. I cannot wait to revisit that movie.
It's fantastic. There is no Rockin Robbie Live this week, everybody. Just so y'all know. So you're just on your own this week.
Oh,
okay. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro. But it's just you. It's just you. Nick, what's coming up,
I get nervous every time I have to, because for some reason on Blame Fable, we'll have a steady audience, but in those last 20 minutes, it's just like everybody just shows up.
Yeah. And then I'm like, they got 15 minutes before I go live. They haven't even gotten to the blaming yet. What do they think they're going to do? Luckily, Steph and Herm are like, I ain't got nothing.
So, thank you for, I definitely want to watch Rockin Robbie every Sunday, but, the pressure off a little bit is okay too.
Yeah, bro, take as long as you want this Sunday, man. I'm good. Nick, what's coming up, bro?
Yeah, I had the new release video today, and I had the haul video as well. Nick at Night will be coming up on Friday, working my way through the books right now. Last Sunday morning, I did a live, the comic book look ahead for July. So it's just a video where I sit down early in the morning, so get your coffee, and we look at what's coming out in the next month and just kind of plan our poll lists and kind of, let people know the things that you're excited about. Maybe someone forgot something, and it's a good time to have that conversation. So it's pretty cool to do that. I do have an unboxing. I have a backlog unboxing I'm going to be planning maybe Sunday. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to figure it out. But yeah, check all these guys out too. These guys are all great. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on again, man. I can't wait to see what next week's episode brings. So I appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to these shows, man. So thank you all for joining me. Everybody check out these dudes. They do great content out there, and definitely worth checking out. These are my homies. We're family, y'all. I love y'all so much. And after we wrap up here, I'm on fucking vacation, y'all. No weekly wrap up. No creator conversation. Nothing. No Rockin Robbie Live. I am going to Heroes Con, baby, like circumstances. I'm so excited. I'm going to meet Jim Rugg, Jim Mahfood. I'm going to meet Ed Piscor. I'm going to meet John Romita Jr., Klaus Janson, Walt Simonson, Louise Simonson, Jay Lee, Jonathan Hickman, Nick Dragata, the list, Roy Thomas. The list goes on and on and on and on.
Wow.
I'm so excited. We're going to Heroes Con, baby.
Have fun, Robbie. I heard they renamed it to Avengers Con, so show up in your best mind.
Dude, I fucking hope not. Heroes Con's way better.
Just watch out for that Ant-Man head.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
And even though I'm not going to be there for Dylan's Horror Show, they are rolling through with Toby Hooper's Eaten Alive this Saturday on Dylan's Horror Show. And the next live stream you'll see me on will be PCP Movie Night when we wrap up Cruise Choice with Brian's pick, Isle of Dogs. First time watching this one, guys. I'm excited to talk about it, as I usually am. We're having a good time. Then we take a week off for 4th of July, and we're coming in with Action Fest, kicking it off with Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, and 4, the franchise review. Check him out right now on HBO Max. All right, y'all. We're dipping out, and we